Okay, so I'm supposed to tell you why Deitch to Mocha is a good thing, and then Margaret can tell you why it's a bad thing. I recently published on Coagula.com a photo of Christopher Knight of the LA Times, and he has grown a mullet. So, and you can look, and so I'm saying that to weaken his argument that he posited to all 45 of his readers in the LA Times. And his argument was that the nonprofit sector and the corporate sector was akin to a separation of church and state. Now, I can imagine somebody from Microsoft getting a job with an academic institution or a nonprofit institution a lot quicker than I can an entrepreneur. The divide is between the entrepreneurial class and the corporate class. And a nonprofit corporation and a for-profit corporation are the same structure, and the people go from one to the other all the time. It's a false divide. It's perpetuated by people like Christopher Knight, who works for the Tribune Corporation, to make it seem like there is a higher element. The entrepreneurial class is the creative class. They're the people who take the risks. They are the artists. They are the people who jump. They are the people who lead. They are the people who show us the way. And Jeffrey Deitch is the leader of the entrepreneurial class. And to have him here is an absolute blessing. It's a great thing for the city. And you're going to see Mocha doing things that you never imagined with boring academics telling you that this artist influenced that artist. And that's why this is important. It doesn't matter that we don't like this anymore.
Not sure about that.
But just remember, one thing Jeffrey Deitch isn't a part of: the fuck-ups who fucked up Mocha. The institutional culture that fucking robbed $30 million from Mocha to throw parties for Murakami's assembly line.
You know, what we're discussing today is a fait accompli, and I'm in the unenviable position of being an academic and arguing on the against side, which is complicated things because I'm not really 100% against this. It's part of the academic.
I win!
You know, does Deitch's appointment represent this loss of a divide between the two worlds of the museum and the gallery? Well, no, because of course, as we all know, they're very permeable. There's a lot of influence back and forth anyway. However, I do think that if, in the end, we see a lot more of Jeff Koons at Mocha, this will be a loss to Mocha of some kind of institutional status. The second thing is, will Deitch re-energize Mocha? I think he's really going to change the focus of it. He himself has said in his own interviews, he's interested in things that are more popular. He's interested in tapping, you know, the Hollywood scene and other things of that. We'll probably see good parties. If we see some really over-the-top parties, then probably in a kind of a Gatsby-esque moment, we'll have some kind of backlash because of the, you know, the messes that we see in the state and city budget. But third, does Deitch have the necessary skills for setting Mocha back on a sound fiscal course? Well, he has run a successful gallery. He does have an MBA from Harvard. He does have background. He was a Citibank vice president, but you know, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, the way banks have been. It's a corporate thing. Jesus. So, and you know, many writers like, I think, Lee Rosenbaum in Culture Girls, she really set the thing very clearly that it's a totally different kind of business practice, whether it's all the same underneath, at least on the surface of protocol, is different between the kind of freewheeling gallery world and the museum world. And the question is, can Deitch change his practices to make this work? And finally, is his appointment full of potential conflicts of interest? Yes, of course it is. You know, he himself, his gallery dealings are supposed to end on June 1st, but he's already announced that he's going to continue to sell from his gallery inventory, and he's going to roll over that inventory, fold it into his personal collection, and then from that, continue to sell out of that personal collection. Isn't that a little strange that you can do that? But anyway, and to support himself because the salary of the Mocha director is not going to be apparently quite adequate. Deitch says he wants to enter the public sector. He says that the museum world, that the commercial gallery world is full of high-time parties that you can't get into if you're not extremely famous, not a billionaire, and not extraordinarily good-looking. But obviously this folding and selling is going to undermine his intentions on this, and as well as his long-term business dealings with MoCA trustee Eli Broad. We have Christopher Knight's argument that Deitch is a bad idea because there is a broader art pie, as you call it, and the market is but a little slice, and somehow he conflates that market slice with Deitch's appointment as suddenly taking over all of MoCA, as if MoCA ever really did represent or should represent the totality of what goes on in the whole art pie. We operate outside of the MoCA sphere. It's not an issue in terms of what our practices involve. And so I think the debate has to be kind of put in that kind of box or perspective. It isn't the art world. It is a small slice of the art world. Right.
I don't know any artist who would turn down a show at MoCA, so you're making it like, oh, well, we're not part of MoCA, then why are we talking about MoCA? Who here is an artist? Raise your hand. Okay, you know what? A room full of fucking Rothkos ain't getting you any closer to show at MoCA. You want a hip gallery director, you want a hip museum director who's going to be looking at your shit going, this is the way. Who gives a fuck about then? We want to talk about now and the future. That's where you guys are at. This fucking 30-year retrospective of a bunch of scribbles is just, it's over. It's a graveyard in there. There's 3 images, and they're all photographs. And it's time for the art of now, MoCA Museum of Contemporary Art, okay? Nobody's pulling up there in a Model T Ford. They're showing art that is the equivalent of Model T Fords. They don't get good mileage.
I forgot to tell you, no profanity. I guess I'm going to lose this debate. But, you know, how many of you would refuse a show at any other place or even various galleries or anything else? I think the reality is that there is this whole notion that there's this sort of pyramid structure in the art world, and that's kind of where it is, but that isn't where it is. Where it is what's going on every day and the work that we all produce every day. And I know perhaps that's going to sound kind of pie in the sky to a group that perhaps feels that you have to kind of be at the top of some kind of soundbite or sensationalism, but I think you're wrong.
That's a very typical attitude of people in academia who have tenure, who are comfortable, who can rise to mediocrity, don't have to go anywhere. Artists are out there fighting, like Jeffrey Deitch had to make it on his own with his gallery, and he did. He proved he could. He proved you could make it as an artist, and he's here to show us the way. It's not a situation of, well, they're not part of it, so let's just stay in our little cocoon. Yeah. There's no tenure in the cocoon. Sorry, Mary.
I don't believe you. In the interest of disclosure, yes, I have tenure. Yes, I see both sides of the argument. I mean, Jesus, it's hopeless. I think the minute we make MoCA the only game in town, we all lose, and it's stupid. So, there.
Yeah. Do we have a statement from Matt?
Matt's busy texting right now.
I'm uploading on Facebook. History will prove me right. Jeffrey Deitch will be the best thing to ever happen to MoCA, especially in light of the garbage, the theft, and the bullshit we just put up with. Save the museum! While they turn their backs on all of us. Fuck them.
All right, Margaret, do you have a closing statement?
No, I guess I don't.
All right.
Let's make some noise for who thinks Matt should win the debate. Let's make some noise for Margaret.
It's an academic conspiracy! They all want to get hired at USC, Margaret! She's not on the hiring committee! I got pictures of you all, and Deitch isn't coming to any of your studios!